Before we can reclaim our power, we first need to understand what this shadow really is. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is the part of ourselves that we hide, even from our own awareness. It holds our fears, our insecurities, the anger we suppress, and the desires we sometimes deny. For women, this shadow often grows in silence. We are taught to be polite, to put others first, to suppress our emotions, and to never make waves. Over time, these suppressed parts of ourselves accumulate, creating a hidden force that quietly influences our decisions and shapes how we feel about ourselves. Think about the moments when you've held back your opinion, apologized when you didn't need to, or compared yourself to someone else and felt inadequate. That's your shadow speaking, reminding you of the parts you've hidden or ignored. And here's the key. The shadow isn't bad. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's simply a part of you, a part that wants to be acknowledged, understood, and integrated. Every woman carries this shadow differently. Some may feel it as constant self-doubt, others as perfectionism, or even quiet resentment. But no matter the form it takes, it's always guiding your choices, often without you even realizing it. And until we recognize it, we remain trapped, living in ways that are safe, predictable, and small, instead of bold, authentic, and free. So, the first step on this journey of transformation is awareness. To see your shadow clearly, to understand the hidden fears that shape your life, and to begin a process of conscious reflection. Only by bringing this shadow into the light can we start reclaiming the power that has always been within us. Before we can reclaim our power, we first need to understand what this shadow really is. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is the part of ourselves that we hide, even from our own awareness. It's the side of us that holds our fears, insecurities, anger, desires we feel we shouldn't express. For women, this shadow often grows quietly, hidden beneath layers of expectations, social norms, and the pressures to always be perfect. From a young age, many women are taught to put others first, to be polite, to suppress anger, and to silence their inner voices. Over time, these suppressed parts of ourselves accumulate, creating a hidden force that quietly influences our choices, our emotions, and the way we see ourselves. Have you ever held back your opinion to avoid conflict? Or apologized when you didn't need to? Maybe you've compared yourself to someone else and felt you were lacking. These are all moments when your shadow is speaking, whispering doubts and insecurities you've buried deep inside. But here's something most people don't realize. The shadow isn't bad, and it isn't something to feel guilty about. It's simply a part of you, a part that wants to be acknowledged, understood, and integrated. Ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It only grows stronger and more influential, often in ways you may not notice. Every woman experiences her shadow differently. Some may feel it as constant self-doubt or anxiety, others as perfectionism, overthinking, or quiet resentment. Some may suppress anger to avoid judgment, while others deny desires that seem too bold or selfish. But no matter how it manifests, the shadow is always shaping your life, often without you even realizing it. It affects your decisions, your relationships, and the way you treat yourself. Until you recognize it, you remain trapped, living in ways that feel safe but small, predictable but unfulfilled, careful but far from your true potential. The first step in facing this shadow is awareness. To see it clearly, you must observe your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without judgment. Notice the moments when you feel self-critical, fearful, or hesitant. These are signs pointing directly to the parts of yourself that have been hidden. Only by bringing these shadows into the light can you begin the journey of transformation, of reclaiming the power, confidence, and authenticity that has always been within you. The shadow is not your enemy, it is your guide. And today, we start the first step toward facing it and stepping into the life you were always meant to live. Now that we understand what the shadow is, let's explore why so many women fear it. The truth is, society has conditioned women to hide parts of themselves from a very young age. From childhood, many girls are taught to be polite, to be agreeable, to put others' needs above their own. Expressing anger, desire, or ambition is often labeled as selfish or inappropriate. Over time, these lessons become internalized, and the natural parts of a woman's personality, the strong, bold, even messy parts, start to feel dangerous or unacceptable. The shadow forms in these hidden corners of ourselves, and fear grows around it. Women fear their shadow because it threatens the safe, familiar identity they have constructed over years of social conditioning. It whispers uncomfortable truths like, "You are enough," or "You deserve more." And suddenly, the life they've built feels fragile. Facing the shadow means confronting parts of themselves they've denied or ignored. Anger at unfair treatment, grief for lost opportunities, the longing for independence, or the desire to speak their truth. It's natural to fear these feelings because they challenge the story we've been told about who we should be. Another reason the shadow is frightening is the fear of judgment. Many women worry that embracing their authentic selves will upset relationships, provoke criticism, or even alienate them from their family or friends. What if people see the real me and reject it? What if my ambition is seen as arrogance? What if my anger scares the people I love? These fears keep the shadow locked away, invisible and unexamined. And yet, the shadow is not a threat. It's a guide. It's a compass pointing to the parts of your life where growth, courage, and authenticity are waiting. The fear also comes from self-doubt. Women are often taught to question their worth and second-guess their choices. When the shadow asks you to step into your power, even in small ways, that doubt surfaces. The mind floods with, "What if I fail?" or "Am I being selfish?" That fear feels paralyzing, but it's actually a sign that transformation is possible. The more the shadow is feared, the more energy it holds, and the more reward awaits when it is faced. Accepting this fear, observing it without judgment, and moving forward despite it is the beginning of reclaiming your true power. Understanding why you fear your shadow is essential. Awareness allows you to see that these fears are not weaknesses. They are signals, guiding you toward the parts of yourself that have been neglected. Once you confront them, begin to free yourself from invisible chains. And every step you take brings you closer to living boldly, authentically, and fully as the woman you were always meant to be. Now that we understand what the shadow is and why it can feel so frightening, the next step is to recognize how it shows up in your daily life. The shadow rarely announces itself loudly. Instead, it operates quietly, influencing your thoughts, decisions, and behaviors without you even realizing it. For women, this hidden force often appears as self-doubt, overthinking, or constant comparison to others. These signs are not weaknesses, they are clues, guiding you to the parts of yourself that need acknowledgement, healing, and integration. One of the most common signs is over-apologizing. You may find yourself saying sorry for things that aren't your fault, or for simply existing in your own space. This is a shadow pattern rooted in the fear of judgment or rejection. By apologizing unnecessarily, you are unconsciously trying to minimize yourself, to make others comfortable, while keeping parts of your true self hidden. Another clear sign is chronic self-criticism. If you notice that no achievement ever feels enough, or that you constantly judge your appearance, your choices, or your abilities, this is the shadow whispering. It feeds on internalized societal expectations and self-imposed pressures, keeping you small, cautious, and restrained. This inner critic is not your enemy. It is a reflection of the parts you've been taught to hide, the emotions you've denied, and the power you've not fully claimed. Procrastination and indecision are also signs. When the shadow dominates, it convinces you to wait, to second-guess your instincts, and to avoid action. It thrives in the space of uncertainty, making even small choices feel overwhelming. Similarly, comparing yourself constantly to others is a shadow-driven pattern. It keeps you measuring your worth externally rather than trusting your inner value, creating a cycle of insecurity and self-doubt. Lastly, emotional suppression is a major indicator. If you notice yourself hiding anger, sadness, or frustration to keep the peace, the shadow is at work. It signals the parts of you that need expression, that demand recognition, but have been ignored for too long. Every time you ignore these feelings, the shadow grows, subtly shaping your behavior and holding back your true potential. Recognizing these signs is not about blame. It is about awareness. Each of these patterns, over-apologizing, self-criticism, procrastination, constant comparison, and emotional suppression, is a guide pointing you to the hidden parts of yourself that are ready to be reclaimed. Awareness is the first step toward breaking free from these invisible chains, stepping into your authenticity and reclaiming the power that has always been within you as a woman. Now that you can recognize the signs of your shadow, it's time to take action. Facing your shadow is not about forcing yourself to change overnight or becoming perfect. It's about awareness, acceptance, and taking conscious steps to reclaim the parts of yourself you've hidden for too long. For women, this journey can feel both challenging and liberating because it requires acknowledging fears and emotions that society has taught you to suppress. The first step is self-reflection. Start observing your thoughts, feelings, and reactions without judgment. Journaling is a powerful tool for this. Write down moments when you feel self-doubt, anger, or frustration. Note the triggers, perhaps a comment from someone, a situation at work, or a personal expectation you didn't meet. By putting these experiences on paper, you create clarity and begin to see patterns that were previously hidden. Next, pay attention to your emotional reactions. Instead of suppressing feelings like anger, sadness, or disappointment, allow yourself to experience them fully. These emotions are not weaknesses. They are signals from your shadow, highlighting areas of your life that need attention. Take a moment to ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? This simple practice of listening to your emotions helps you reclaim your power and understand yourself more deeply. The third step is acceptance. Embrace all parts of yourself, even the parts you've been told are unacceptable. This might include desires, ambitions, or aspects of your personality you have hidden to please others. Acceptance doesn't mean acting on every impulse immediately. It means acknowledging that these parts exist, that they are valid, and that they deserve your attention and respect. Finally, set boundaries and take action. Once you've identified and accepted your shadow, it becomes easier to make choices that honor your needs and values. Say no when necessary, protect your energy, and prioritize your well-being without guilt. Each conscious action, no matter how small, strengthens your inner power and integrates the shadow into a more authentic version of yourself. Facing your shadow is a journey, not a single moment. With patience, practice, and self-compassion, every step brings you closer to confidence, clarity, and the freedom to live fully as the woman you were always meant to be. Remember, your shadow is not your enemy. It is your guide, pointing you toward the strength, wisdom, and authenticity that has always been inside you. Today, start the first step and begin reclaiming the power that is rightfully yours. Once you begin facing your shadow, something extraordinary starts to happen. The fears, doubts, and insecurities that once controlled your choices begin to lose their power. You start noticing patterns in your life that previously felt invisible. Every small step you take toward acknowledging your shadow strengthens your inner confidence and sense of self. For women, this transformation particularly profound because it allows you to break free from societal pressures, self-imposed limitations, and the habit of constantly putting others first. One of the first benefits is clarity. When you face your shadow, you see your thoughts and emotions more clearly. You begin to understand why you react the way you do in certain situations, why you hold back, or why you feel guilt and self-doubt. This awareness gives you the power to make conscious decisions rather than letting old patterns dictate your life. Suddenly, your choices feel intentional, and your life starts aligning with your true values. Another transformation is emotional freedom. The parts of yourself you once hid, anger, grief, ambition, or desire, begin to feel acknowledged and valid. You no longer have to suppress your feelings to fit into a mold. Instead, you can express yourself authentically, set boundaries, and prioritize your well-being without guilt. This emotional liberation strengthens your relationships because you now interact from a place of honesty and self-respect. Self-trust is another profound outcome. By facing your shadow, you learn to rely on your inner voice rather than seeking constant validation from others. You trust your instincts, make decisions with confidence, and no longer allow fear to control your life. This self-trust spills over into all areas of life: career, relationships, personal growth, helping you step boldly into opportunities you may have previously avoided. Finally, empowerment becomes a daily experience. As you integrate your shadow, you reclaim the parts of yourself that were hidden or ignored. You feel stronger, more authentic, and more capable of creating the life you want. The journey may not always be easy, but every step forward is a victory. Every time you confront fear or self-doubt, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your true self. Facing your shadow transforms not just how you feel, but how you live. Confidence, clarity, emotional freedom, self-trust, and empowerment are all within your reach. Every woman has this power inside her. The shadow is not something to fear. It is the gateway to living fully, boldly, and authentically. Today, by choosing to face it, you take the first step toward the life you were always meant to live. We have journeyed together through understanding the shadow, recognizing its presence, and learning the reasons it has been feared for so long. We explored the signs it manifests in your daily life, and most importantly, we discovered how to face it and integrate it into your true self. But now, as we reach the final moments of this journey, it's time to take everything we've learned and turn it into action. Because awareness alone is not enough. Transformation happens when knowledge meets courage. Every woman carries a shadow, and every woman has the power to reclaim it. This is not a journey of perfection. It's a journey of honesty, courage, and self-compassion. The shadow you once feared is not your enemy. It is your guide, pointing to the parts of yourself that have been neglected, hidden, or suppressed for far too long. By facing it, you step into authenticity. You step into your power. You step into a life where your voice is heard, your desires are valid, and your confidence is unshakable. Take a moment now to reflect. What is one part of yourself you've been hiding? What fear or doubt has been holding you back from fully expressing your potential? Today, choose to acknowledge it. Write it down. Speak it aloud if it feels right. Begin small, but begin consciously. Every small action of self-acceptance, every decision made from courage instead of fear, is a victory. Each step forward is a reclaiming of the life that is truly yours. And remember, this is not a solitary journey. Share this knowledge with other women in your life. Encourage them to face their shadows. Support each other as you walk this path toward empowerment, self-trust, and authenticity. The more we bring our shadows into the light, the more strength we cultivate, not just individually, but collectively. So start today. Embrace your fears, honor your desires, speak your truth, set boundaries that protect your energy. Celebrate the courage it takes to face what has been hidden. Transformation is possible, and it begins with this first conscious choice. Your shadow is not a limitation. It is your pathway to freedom, strength, and a life lived fully and authentically. The power you have been seeking has always been within you. Reclaim it, step into your true self, and let your light shine unapologetically.